In this video, we're back in the Nations Cup on Gran Turismo Sport at Lake Maggiore, having a race-long battle with another Brit that carries on right to the final corner. Hey guys, and welcome along to another video. If this is your first time here and you like watching all sorts of sim racing related stuff, subscribe now and click the bell icon so you get notified of every video I upload and you don't miss a thing. Now before we get stuck into the race, I wanted to let you know a few things that happened in qualifying. So we crossed the line here 10 seconds late, which means we miss out on one extra lap, which has big consequences considering at this point we were 8th. So because we didn't have time for another lap, we ended up in 12th, 8/1000th of a second behind the Brit in front, who we're going to spend the rest of the race battling. So here we go then, 9 laps around Lake Maggiore. We've got a bit of work to do if we're going to get to our target for this one, which is going to be at least a top 10. We're in the SF1, the Toyotas. Everybody's in them because they're actually a class above this class that the nations have stipulated, but you detune it to make it eligible. So the Brit that I was talking about that we're going to be battling is Rodders 507. So we've got 9 laps of battling with this guy coming as we come down through the S's for the first time. Now I'm going to get a little bit out of shape. You can't afford to get a penalty in these FIAs, so I mess up the line slightly trying to stay on track, which loses us a bit of time to Rodders, but the last thing we want to do is to be getting a penalty, especially in these cars. One make races pretty much like these are an absolute nightmare if you have an issue. But we're going to get a run as we go through said penalty gates on Rodders for the first time here. We're going to come up the hill towards the left-hander after getting a good run at the bottom of the hill. We're going to go in here, there's a bit of contact, nothing major, but Rodders is going to hang it on the outside, giving him the inside of the next corner. Now at this point it's worth noting as we come into the tight technical section to end the lap that there are no pit stops with this. It's essentially a 9-lap sprint. There's no need to change tyres because we're all on hards, and there's also no need to refuel. So as we cross the line to start lap number 2 here, you'll see up in front the guy who is in the grey SF1 has had some sort of issue and he's slow entering into turn number 1. Rodders going to go up the inside there. They've done well to avoid contact. Oh, there's a little bit there, but they both give each other enough room and they're going to try and go side by side down the hill through the S's. Now this doesn't work in many cars. It definitely doesn't work in the FS1, so watch here as he comes across. The Italian hits Rodders there, which forces Rodders to slow down, which gets him in our path, and we give him a slight love tap. Nothing major at this point, but it does get us a little bit out of shape for the final part of the S's here. So coming down to probably the most critical part of this track, you really need to get a good exit, otherwise you're going to be stuck really slow all the way up the hill. We look like we've got a good run here. Everything is telling you to change down, but do not change down in these cars. You lose so much time if you do. And we're staying with Rodders and Matt, the Italian, at this point. Now it's worth noting here that the Italian actually qualified in 6th. So he'll be looking to pull away as he is doing now and get his foot down and not get stuck into a battle with Rodders. So again, coming into the technical section towards the end of the lap, keep your eye on Matt up in front. He's just going to run it a bit wide and he's going to hit the wall there and he is going to go round. So his day has just gone from bad to worse. I bet he would have taken 9th now. He's going to be right down the bottom. You can see him there on the mini map, smack bang last. But we're going to get our head down here and see if we can get back up to Rodders and make a move on him. He's going to run a little bit wide here, but he's going to recover just in time for the S's, and we are going to see what we can do. We're going to fast forward now to later on in the lap here, just coming out of the final corner, and we've actually caught up to the guys in front. Rodders has been pushed back into us here as we cross the line to start lap number 4. We're actually going to see an opportunity here to come down into turn number 1. So we get on the brakes here, we're alongside, there's going to be a little bit of contact here. I'm going to try and give him as much room as possible to keep him out of the wall. But we are now up into 10th. Let's see if we can keep him behind us and what we can do about the guys up in front. So we're coming through the S's here. Keep your eye on the Brit up in 9th here. You've got to be so careful to regulate your speed here because it could mess you up later down the line, as we're going to see with the Brit up in front. He's just going to go so wide onto that grass. He's lucky he doesn't go into the wall. We almost follow him off actually. That's the danger of concentrating on the guys up in front here. I'm going to try and get this thing stopped. Do not change down to 3rd as we come up the hill here, and you can just see how much momentum matters. Keep your eye on the radar as well, because Rodders wants a bit here, but he's just going to lift off as we go up the inside of the Brit here, up into 9th place. Now realistically, I think the red car that you can see in the distance and the others in that group are probably too far away. So our aim for this one, it was originally a top 10, but let's see if we can take 8th off the Frenchman in front and hang on against these other guys that, at least in this combination, we are extremely closely matched to. We're going to jump one lap ahead now to lap number 7, and everything seems to be as it was before, apart from Rodders has managed to also overtake the 3rd Brit in this race and is now back behind us as we follow Phil Fowl down the hill. Now, I mentioned earlier about regulating your speed and making sure you have the right line coming down this hill. Here we're going to see the Frenchman up ahead just take too much speed in here, miss the corner there and get well out of shape like we did on the first lap, but we got out of the throttle. He does not. He keeps his foot buried. He goes all the way off onto the grass, almost hits the wall, which gives us an opportunity to dive up the inside and cut underneath him into this corner here. Now, I would usually stay in 4th, but as the entry speed, or the apex speed I should say, was so low because we took a tighter line, I actually changed down to 3rd, and as you saw as I look behind there, we've got a whole angry mob of people to keep behind. Let's see if we can hang on to this 8th place. So we rejoin the action now on the final lap, lap 9 of line, and you'll see that Rodders has dispatched of the Frenchman and is coming in and out of our radar. Now, this is not good for a number of reasons. One, I have a habit of getting things wrong or bottling things, especially with the added pressure of the final lap here. I'm also really conscious about my SR at the moment. It's the lowest it's been for quite some time, and both those things combined with the fact that the last 2 Gran Turismo videos I have been punted off. A good result here probably would be against the odds. So we come into probably the most important corner of the lap of the race now. At this point, it's the last time we're going to do it, and you can see we're being lined up here by Rodders, and there's another Brit straight behind him, so I could not only lose 8th place, but I could also lose 9th if I don't get this right. So I've got to pick my braking point, get my nose into that apex, as this is going to be the most crucial part of the entire race. I'm going to go defensive here, and I've got to get this thing stopped, but I'm intentionally going to run wide here, giving myself the inside of this corner here, which is going to be critical as there's a little bit of contact with Rodders, but he doesn't have the ability to come back up underneath, and I'm going to take 8th place by about a car length. Now, we only gained about 200 driver rating points, but it was a thoroughly enjoyable race, so I'll take that one. And for now guys, that is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button and make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.